Hello, this is Shannon Farrell, 4-H agent, and I have a really lengthy email that I've sent you, but thought some of you might prefer to hear me say the things that are covered in that email. And so this recording is for that purpose, but everything in the email is the same. I'm literally going to read this as my script, so you have it to go back to should you want to revisit anything. It is packed with thoughts, changes, uncertainty, and lots of different things that affect you directly as a club leader. Usually on July 1st, I send an email that has a 3-step process. And at first, thank you for being a leader with our club and asked you if you'd be willing to be a club leader again in this new program year. Second, if you answered yes to that, it asks you to send me club logistics, the dates, the times that you desire to meet, all your club maximums, other information that you needed members to know by July 25th. And then August 1st, we began enrollment for the program year. This year, however, is quite unprecedented and thus leads to the much more suggestive message below. First and foremost, I'm so thankful for each one of you and the greatness that you bring to Clark County 4-H. I am very sorry that last year ended so abruptly and consequently many of the culminating events were canceled. Of course, the biggest challenge that we are still facing is COVID-19 guidelines and restrictions. In addition, our building custodian's last day in our office is scheduled for July 10th. On that note, we have been promised that if an exception can be made to the hiring pause at UK, the reposting of this position will come first for our office. We definitely have our fingers crossed on this. We are researching supplemental cleaning services in the time being, but until a custodian is hired, we do not have plans to reopen our meeting spaces as we cannot guarantee cleaning is done according to CDC and university guidelines. Plus, our custodian is the person who does all of our room setups, so we are just simply at a significant disadvantage without one. My anticipated maternity leave is early October through mid-January. I had such high hopes that we would have had another 4-H agent in place prior to my time off, but I have recently been notified by our district director that the hiring pauses caused by COVID will most certainly delay the hiring of the second 4-H agent until sometime after January, possibly. Another consideration is that public school has been scheduled to start on Tuesday, September 8th. So I've been told, and typically most of our clubs began a half a month to an entire month following the start of school, which really worked well with the schedules of those settling into schools prior to starting in club work. It's hard to envision the differences that we are still facing, but in lieu of the points mentioned above, I will lead in with some very different scenarios, but ones that I think we need to plan for the time being until our circumstances allow us to swing back into the traditional face-to-face options. Please know that it has come from much consideration, conversations with coworkers, and communication with the state 4-H leader and district director that lead us to the following message. This year, plans to meet virtually will need to be the first option for fall meetings. It is possible that we may be able to do face-to-face meetings in our office, but we do not have that green light in our current situation. My hope is that restrictions will be lifted and ready to begin or continue full swing in the spring, meaning late January or February. So please do not anticipate face-to-face meetings until late January or February. Another viable option for your club would be to completely wait until the spring to start club meetings. Thanks to each of you, Clark County has had such an amazing after-school setup that I've realized these options take the edge off what we are accustomed to. As we move into the next couple of months, if anything changes, I will certainly reach out to you for additional options. However, for the time being, my COVID 3-step process looks more like this for club leaders during the 2020-21 program year. Number 1, would you be willing to serve as club leader again in 2020-21 with the understanding that there's still much uncertainty with how meetings can be conducted? When face-to-face meetings can happen, there will be additional cleaning, sanitation, and social distancing guidelines that must be met and overseen by club leaders. Caveat to number 1 is if you are not comfortable serving as a club leader in 2021 because of the pandemic and the challenges that it brings, but would be willing to pick back up in 2021-22, please know that I understand and support that decision as well. Simply email me with that as your answer and any associated thoughts that you have. If you would like to proceed as club leader this coming program year, please indicate your preference. This is number 2. A, virtual club meetings in the fall, which may be as simple as doing a virtual orientation, up to several virtual meetings, followed by in-person spring meetings that meet according to CDC and university guidelines, which, as we all know, are ever evolving. Or B, start your meetings in the spring, most likely February, that are hopefully face-to-face. Number 3, and the final step in this, is following those initial thoughts and deciding which option you prefer. Please communicate with me for an outline of meetings, opportunities, and anything else as soon as possible. Please understand that I am completely aware that each club has its specific challenges with conforming to one of the 2 options listed above. Here are some additional points to ponder. By state 4-H guidelines, a club becomes a club with a minimum of 6 instructional hours. This is significantly less than most clubs are used to having, but we'll still check the box as far as meeting requirements go for having a club. For those of you who would like to proceed this program year as a club leader, I will offer a training on running a virtual meeting, new office space procedures, and so forth. For those of you who would like to proceed as a club leader this year, our motto will be quality over quantity. We have successfully done both in the past, and I am confident that we will continue this in the future. But one of the things that I have learned during this COVID time that I really would love to see emphasized as we trickle down to clubs is a focus on quality, which, given our current situation, will involve outside the box thinking and ideas and implementation. Clubs that need a minimum number of hours or meetings for participants to compete, please know that virtual options will be accepted this year, so plan to include those as you develop plans for your club. Clubs who rely heavily on a meeting space in our office to participate, please strongly consider postponing club start date until February. Health and safety guidelines do not currently permit usage of our office vans for client transport. Virtual meetings are promoted first, followed by outdoor venues. While I am encouraging virtual meetings if you do choose to meet this fall, I can still arrange for club members to have the materials needed via grab-and-go bags or any other resources that you might need to make those happen for designated clubs, as we would pre-arrange in advance. These current options are more conservative until our situation improves. And the final point is that those who would like to proceed as club leader this year, please know that whatever option you choose, whether 2A or 2B, which was meeting virtually in the fall as few times as once, up to as many times, as you would need to, and then planning to proceed with face-to-face in the spring, or simply just waiting until the spring to start all meetings. Whichever option you choose, I will need everything lined out prior to October 1st to ensure that during my anticipated maternity leave, there is no unnecessary burden on any other staff in my office. With that said, I'm hoping to hear back from you before the 1st of August so that we can really continue to proceed and make these plans as needed. So the last little bullet point that I have in the email is that I hope you've made it through all these thoughts. And I'm sure you have many thoughts, and I'm excited to hear from you, to engage in discussion per any requests that you have. Feel free to reach out to me via email or text, and then refer back to the highlighted section in your email, which outlines the 3-step process that I do need from you to try to send me an immediate response that will allow me and us to continue moving forward with what Clark County 4-H after-school clubs will look like so that we can proceed with planning as needed. Thank you so much.